Oh yeah, ay. When you need a hand and you don't know why, just know that I'll be there. When the road is long and you feel so tired.
Oh, here we go. All right. Hey, John Reagan here with E-Powersport. E-Powersport. On the 18th or 19th cup chat? I'll have to check. But yeah, just coming to you this Sunday morning. Wanted to go over some things, par usual. And today, there's not a lot to really go on about. In the rant section, I think I've been keeping an eye on Reddit and what's going on with the Saunders and stuff and the delivery of the metacycles, and it's some interesting stuff. Anyway, just forgo that. I know there's enough pain and discussion of that pain right now, so yeah, we'll just avoid that. I may have I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a bigger announcement later this week. If everything works out, we'll see and let you guys know. And hopefully, if it does, it's not just bigger, but it would be something I think that would just be huge for everybody, especially if you're hanging on waiting for some of those electric motorcycles. So we'll talk more about that hopefully later this week. Right now, what I want to get into though is I've been working on some, I could say, re-engineering and development this week. As a matter of fact, I have the camera, usually I have it mounted on the tripod, but today I have it on the Joby. I'm going to go around and talk about some things we're doing with some of the different bikes, some of the development that is in progress right now. I know there's a business mentality that you just keep your mind or your mouth shut and just blow it up later. But you know what? There's stuff we're doing that I think is really interesting. And I like to share. And besides, you can come at me competitively, but you're not going to do it the way I do it. I mean, that's just apparent. So when it comes to some of these bikes, I've been looking at how they're made, and the Contax bikes, I really, really like the frame. I mean, even as I started taking them apart and going through them and checking them out, the frame was what always stood out to me. I mean, I love this frame. It has no seat tube. It has great stability, rigidity. It's light for the what you're putting on it and everything, and it really rides great. I mean, it has great balance. I feel real comfortable on it. So as I looked at the components and some of the other things, that's where I didn't get into it. How they lock some things down, it just wasn't what we looked for in our bike. So I talked with Contax, and instead of selling their completed bike, we are looking at bringing in their frames, and we're going to spec them out the way that we want. So right now, for example, I have as our first kind of test units between these two. Let me grab the camera here just so you can get a closer look at what I'm talking about. So this unit here, you can see this is our 750 watt. As we come up here to the handlebars, you see pedal assist only. There is no throttle anywhere here. It requires you to pedal in order for it to work. But the cool thing is, under here is a little hole where we put the controller in the controller box. And so what we'll do is fit a larger, more, I want to say, appropriate controller compared to what was in there. Don't get me wrong, the controller that was in there was actually the specific controller. It was a 8 Fun. It was a lower amperage than we're going to use. We're going to use a 30 amp in this KT controller. We're also using a KT. I already have it. It's a KT LCD 3 display. I like to use the LCDs because they are sunlight readable a lot easier than the color LCDs and stuff. So we get down here. We're going to be using this 750 watt Bafang motor. I'm going to clean these up. I'm also going to put our liners in here. So I don't know if you've seen these yet, but we have these nuclear green liners, and I actually have these in my little Burro. I don't care about riding. It's like I don't even think about getting a flat when I have these. The other thing we're going to do is I've started to get in the containers of slime And so I'm going to slime all of our tubes and stuff up as well. So you'll have green liners, green slime, very little worry about getting a puncture or anything while you're out riding on these bikes. So keep that in mind. That's something I'm going to start instituting as well, because man, there's nothing worse than being out riding and you get a flat and you have to deal with that. Get a flat, have to deal with that. Yeah, so so one of the other things we're going to do, besides upgrading this to be much more configurable and say user controllable, is we're going to not necessarily for this one will come with the stock battery, but as we look to build these out, as we bring them in, we're going to look at ways to increase the battery capacity. So we want these to be probably double the current capacity. So I'm hoping that if we increase the amp hours of the cells versus increasing the number of cells, because that makes for a bigger battery pack, but we do have a lot of room. We'll be able to get, in the 25 range or more. That'll give you just amazing range on these bikes with the motors we're going to be putting on them. Not necessarily on these test ones. This one right here is going to be our first build out with some parts to see how it goes. I don't expect any problems. But this one over here is actually going to be the build out unit. So I'm going to take and swap, the tires and motor off here into that bike. The reason is this bike is already wired up. Had 1,000 watt on it. It's already wired up with these nice hydraulic e-bike brakes. I already have a wiring harness for it that goes to all this stuff. This is going to come off, but then there's a throttle cable down here. Yeah, so this one's all ready to go. It also has a carbon fiber handlebar, which I think is just really sick. It's so sick. Yeah, so then we will drop the new controller in, run all the cabling. It's already got the brakes set up for it. We'll have the 26 by 4 tires, 750 watt Bafang motor, and using the KT controllers unlocked, it'll be fully configurable for you to ride however you like. So I think that creates a lot of value. So looking at these, what we're going to do is I want to bring in their blanks, and then we're going to allow you to choose custom paint jobs. We're going to allow you to choose from a selection of motors that we're bringing in. And so basically allow you to take this bike and customize it a little bit the way that you want it, a little bit for you. Like some people have commented they don't necessarily want this. They just want a regular bike fork. Okay, so let's offer that, right? Let's make that a reality for you. That's how I look at it. But the things that I'm not going to back off on, the things that I really think are key, are giving you as much distance and as much power as you can control on the bike, so that you can get where you need to go, so that you can use it as a real piece of transportation in your daily life. So, and I think our recent developments with Himiway, I don't have any of their bikes here yet. We're getting some demos in. I want to get at least a big dog and a zebra to get started and go over those. But yeah, I think that dealership agreement kind of cites how we approach this. We're looking for longer range, realistically rideable for both fun and transportation bikes. And so when we do our build outs, so this will be one of our first carbon fiber build outs, that's what you'll get from this bike as well. So in that vein, I want to talk about the little Burro. I know I talk about the little Burro a lot, but I ride this thing like crazy. As a matter of fact, I don't have my keys on me. It is over 1,000 miles right now. And somebody said to me the other day, they said, oh, it's because we were talking about expanding the battery pack in here, which I'll explain a little bit in a minute, about how I want to take this thing on a road trip to LA after I do the battery pack. Let me explain. And he said, yeah, I don't know if it's roadworthy for a distance trip like that. And I said, dude, I ride this thing every day. I beat on it. I jump on it. I surf on it. Okay. I mean, I do everything I can to show that, yes, it can take a beating and keep going. What is it that makes you think that it wouldn't be capable if we upgraded the battery this way? And he said to me, the brakes squeal. Dude, That's just maintenance, bro. So I get it, totally understandable, but yeah, it's just some maintenance points. But otherwise, these bikes are very solid. And so what I was talking about is the battery in here right now is a 29 amp hour, 48 volt, pretty much a square battery pack in here, right? Its cells are rated at 2.2 amp hours per cell. So I figure if I bump those up to 5 amp hour cells, real high quality, high discharge ones for when we get the 1,000 watt motor to go on here, that will give us double the distance. I mean, we're talking just incredibly far capability. And then pairing that, right now I have the F300 5 amp charger. So it takes about 6 hours to charge it up from empty. But if we go with a 25 amp charger and I have a 60 amp hour battery, it's going to take me about 2 hours and 2.5 hours to charge that thing up. So that becomes more realistic for doing a ride from here to LA in a single day, right? You stop halfway, charge up, and then keep going. But what I need is something that gets me 150 plus miles on a single charge, and a way to charge it in less than 8 to 10 hours, like some of them would take, which means using a higher charge rate, charger, right? Higher amp hour charger for it. So that was something we were going over, and I think we can do it. Also, there's improvements inside there that I want to make, and again, I'll be doing a video later this week on it. I'm going to take it up, open it up, and start going through it and basically doing a 1,000-mile checkup, because I'm at the 1,020 mark right now, and I think that's a great time to go over it, show you any wear. I'm not seeing any bearing wear. This is like the major thing I had on this fork, which is the seal pop, but that happens a lot. Bearings still seem pretty solid. A little beating here and there on the rims, but yeah, I mean, it still rides great. Motor makes a lot of noise, not that noise. But a lot of load noise. And I'm gonna again open it up and see. I might have got something loose or something. I bang it around a lot, so it could be just damage to the controller or something. But I'm gonna check that out. Other than that, great 1,000 miles. Haven't had any real issues with it other than a couple blown tires. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, otherwise it's run great, worked great, no problems. So yeah, we're going to be doing a lot more of those e-enduros, and hopefully doing a lot more on the, how should I put it, the motorcycle space here real soon. Let's see, so there's a customer, here's e-enduro in the shop right now. You see it's taken apart. It's very humid in the shop, and having batteries in here is not the best idea right now. Just in case you're wondering, try and keep your batteries out of humidity areas if possible. That humidity is what causes internal corrosion sometimes, and that is what creates the potential for fire, okay? If you can, keep them in a cool, dry place, right? If it heats up, it's fine, but it's really the humidity in the air that causes issues with the battery packs. Well sealed or not, it could just happen. So you see we still have the Watt Wagons here. Please, somebody buy it before I start riding the shit out of it, because that's what's going to happen next. If nobody buys it, I have to ride the crap out of it. So, which I will. I'm just going to start just riding it and beating on it, and what happens, happens, I guess. Actually, for that one, I've got a 10 amp hour charger on order right now. So once I get that, it'll charge. It has the right connector and everything. It'll charge it in less than 2 hours. We'll say 2 hours. So that's a reasonable one. So then you get your 35, 40 mile ride out of it, plug it in while you're at work or whatever, go take a lunch. I mean, go take a regular ride. You can do whatever you want. So yeah, so that quick charger will make it definitely a lot more fun to ride for me. So that's my only problem with it right now is ooh, sorry if you're getting some fan noise there. The at par usual, the GoPro has overheated So yeah, I love this bike. I love riding it. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, the only problem I've had with it is we have the slower charger. It's a 3 amp charger, not the 10 amp charger that I would have liked to have gotten with it, because with such a powerful motor, it tends to drain the battery fairly quickly. Not that you can't get 30 and 40 miles or more out of it. You just have to do a little more pedaling, right? Versus some of the other bikes with larger batteries and stuff. Having that slower charger doesn't help, because then it takes, what is it, 5-6 hours to charge. So I figure having the slow charger is good on the Watt wagons when you want to have it, you know, at home charging, and then I'll have the 10 amp if you want to use that when you're out and about, you know, to get some better range and stuff out of it. So I have a couple of other bikes sitting here, but right now everything's kind of in works. So as far as bikes on hand, I don't really have a lot. We have stuff coming in right now. Our videos for the VX2 did sell them out. I confirmed that it helped to, right at the same time, help to drive their sales up. And we may be doing similar videos for the VX1 and the VX3 to help with those as well. But right now I got the E-Enduro still. I'm going to work on this out here today. The fan's not too bad, keeping a little cooler, so probably get away with that. And then as soon as the controller comes in for this one and the motor extension cable, or I should say that one, we'll have this set up and ready for sale. It'll be all brand new. Motor has a couple 100 miles on it, but really nothing for that motor. Yeah, and be a really nice bike. So I'll let you know, we'll probably sell that one for about $2,500, especially with the upgrades we're doing on it, stuff, and the time in. But it will be just a carbon fiber bike with 750 watt at your disposal, throttle, you know, nice bike. So yeah, that's it. That is really it for now. The camera keeps overheating, so I'm gonna try and keep it in the I had to squat to keep it in the face.
Know that I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there.